Hello, Marin County residents. Justin Russell here, your camera and editing instructor here at Marin TV. I've worked on a number of projects in video and television production, from music videos to short films, news packages, and even documentaries. Here at the Community Media Center of Marin, we offer an abundance of amazing workshops that teach community members how to use our Sony cameras and edit their projects on Final Cut Pro 10. Interested in learning the basics? Awesome! We put together this short video to help you get a great head start. One of the first things you'll need when you're ready to start the film editing process is something to hold your digital footage. External hard drives are compact storage units used for holding your digital memory. You can use them to save footage and all of your Final Cut library information files. This marks the first step of the nonlinear editing process, acquiring material. Next, we'll be capturing and importing said material into Final Cut Pro. But first, I want to explain the file hierarchy that exists within Final Cut Pro. In Final Cut, we work in large files called libraries. Final Cut libraries hold individual save locations inside them called events, and by default, anytime a library is created, an event is created along with it and named after today's date. To rename the event, click on the event until the name is highlighted in purple. Now there's one more step before we can move on to capturing and importing. After you've given your new event a name, we can create a new project within that event by going to File, New, Project. Now give your project a name and click Save. So that's the hierarchy. Libraries hold events, which hold projects. You can use this system to arrange, sort, and manage your editing work to your liking. For example, I like to think of my library as a television series, my event as a season of said television series, and my project as an episode. Now that we've got the logistics out of the way, I think now is a great time for me to give a quick rundown on what it is you're looking at here. I want to bring to your attention these three main windows in the software. The upper left window is called the browser. The window directly to the right is known as the canvas or the viewer. And the bottom section of the screen is what's known as the timeline. The browser is where you'll find all of your footage and media. The canvas is where you will be able to view or preview anything in the browser or in the timeline. And the timeline is where you will do all of your actual editing. We'll go over some of the individual buttons in each window as we move along. Now, let's add some media to this project. Importing media is the process for bringing your footage, photos, music, and sound effects into Final Cut Pro so that you can begin editing with the program. There are 4 ways of accessing the media import window. The first one is by clicking the down arrow in the upper left corner of the browser window. You could also click File, Import, Media, or use the Command I option. Lastly, there's an option to import media when right-clicking anywhere in the browser. Take a look at this furthest left side of the media import window. There are 3 sidebars that represent categories for locations on the Mac. The first one, Cameras, is for any camera currently connected to the Macintosh computer. By default, your Mac's webcam should be one of the cameras currently connected. You can use any connected camera to capture and import straight into Final Cut Pro. Underneath Cameras is the Devices sidebar. Here's where you'll find all devices that are currently connected to the Mac, including your external hard drive. For now, let's make sure your external hard drive is highlighted in this section. Lastly, we have Favorites. This is where Final Cut Pro gives you the option of saving a special location from your computer to the media import window. This is particularly useful if you keep a folder on your Mac where you store all of your video footage. Once we've got our external hard drive selected in the Devices sidebar, we can now highlight the Media folder located on the drive. Make sure that this folder is highlighted so that Final Cut knows you want to import everything inside of the folder. Now that that's highlighted, let's take a look at the right side of the window. At the top, you can choose to add media to the current event, or you can choose to create a new event and give that event an appropriate name. Beneath that, in the Files section, you can choose to leave the media files in place on the hard drive, or you could have Final Cut Pro make copies of the files and store them in your library. Let's choose the second option. This will make sure we never lose the media files while we're editing, should we lose access to them later. Next, in the transcoding sidebar, we'll select Create Proxy Media, and we will deselect Create Optimized Media. When we choose proxy media instead of optimized, we're creating a much smoother editing process for ourselves because we're working with files that are slightly smaller in size. In keywords, you can have Final Cut Pro organize your media into specific folders or generate folders based on Finder tags. I'll leave this option up to you. And finally, use any of these analyze features if you feel you'll need help processing issues in the audio or color correction. Sweet! We've got our media folder highlighted and we've chosen all of our preferences. Now we're ready to import our media into the program. Click Import All in the lower right corner. Cool! We've got our media imported into our event and we can see our media right here in the browser. If you're finding things a bit difficult to see, you can use this film strip icon to better address the size of the thumbnails. The top slide in the menu window scales the size of the thumbnail, whereas the bottom slider adjusts the length of time between each thumbnail and gives you more of a visual representation of each frame in this particular clip. Some other appearance features to sift through are the Clip and List View toggle. Click here to switch between viewing the clips as thumbnails or viewing them in list form. You can also adjust the size of any window by moving your mouse to the window's furthest edge and clicking and dragging. Move your mouse over a clip in the browser and you'll notice the clip is being previewed in the viewer. This feature is called skimming. When you preview a clip by hovering your mouse above it, you are skimming the clip's video. The current frame of the skim is completely respondent to the position of your mouse, which is represented by the small red line. Click on the clip once and the entire clip should illuminate in yellow. You have now selected this entire clip. If we click and drag this clip into our timeline, we would be bringing the entire clip in to edit. But that's not exactly what we want. We want to bring in specific portions of this clip into our timeline for editing. How do we do that? By creating what Final Cut Pro calls a range. This is often referred to in other editing programs as setting an in and out point. If you move your mouse back into your browser and press the space bar, the clip will play from where the skim line was left last. Move your mouse to the beginning of a clip and press the spacebar again to play it from the beginning. You can drag the edges of the yellow bars surrounding the clip to create a range and bring in a specific section of a clip into the timeline. Or you can play from the skim line using the spacebar and set an in point for the range using the I key on your keyboard and an out point using the O key. Once you've got your range created, you can drag and drop the range from the browser into the timeline. Make sure you're clicking and dragging from inside your range using this grabber cursor. If you look in this middle section, between the browser and the timeline, you'll notice these 4 buttons with small designs in them. If we click the first one, the clip we dragged in before is now inserted on top of itself. This first clip insert button is known as the Connect Clip Insert button. It connects the selected clip to the top of the clip selected in the timeline. When a clip is placed on top of another, it is said to be in the timeline's secondary storyline as opposed to its main storyline. Any clip in the secondary storyline will play video over the clip underneath it. The next Clip Insert button inserts the clip wherever your playhead is placed in the timeline. You may notice that if your playhead is placed above a clip, that clip now becomes separated in two once the new clip is inserted. The next button inserts the clip at the very end of the main storyline, no matter where your playhead is. And last but not least, the final Clip Insert button is actually a Clip Overwrite button, where the clip is inserted at the playhead and overwrites the clip currently in its position.